people. Right, guys?
Ha ha!
Yeah.
I get one person. Okay. That's
What's
great.
up?
Yes! Woo!
There we go. They were
That's
excited. First off, the only one that really gave me some energy, Waffle, our PvP. Say hi.
This guy.
The
What's
man
up?
with the hair.
Yeah. Hair's
Exactly.
doing things today.
Loving it. The hair looks amazing, my friend. Then,
Uh.
of course, my EXO, the ninja, Streeg.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody?
And, of course, everyone knows my recruiting officer is Nionya.
Hola.
Woot woot.
Well, today, guys, I have to say, or actually not even today, it was this week. It was an amazing week because we saw a DevSpeak video, which, as we know, it's always a good week when we see one of those. But, because this one is all about raids, you know, we are all in love with it. So please, Dash, can you play that for us?
T for teen. Damn right. Welcome to WildStar. This is DevSpeak. This disclaimer is hardcore. This video covers a subject we've talked about for a while, and we haven't really shown anything. Well, that's about to end, because it's time to unleash raids. Oh, I'm sorry. See, raids in WildStar are what we always thought raids should be. For those who aren't hardcore, raids are when 20 to 40 lunatics rush headlong into a nightmarish scenario of pure carnage and impossible odds. Why? Because they're hardcore. And in WildStar, we've made sure that the experience is fun. And it's all thanks to WildStar's combat system. If you've seen our videos, you know that we communicate both player and enemy attacks using telegraphs. In the open world, this makes combat feel clear, dynamic, and reactive. It makes dungeons feel dangerous and exciting. And it makes raids insane. But telegraphs are only a part of what make our raids challenging. For starters, they're ginormous. Try 6 bosses, 10 mini-bosses, and 5 events. Or say 7 bosses, 16 mini-bosses, and 2 rooms that are also bosses. And when it comes to mini-bosses, we don't mess around. These fights are complex. So, what's a boss like then? Check it. Hardcore. Telegraph-based raids keep even the hardest encounters in the game feeling completely unpredictable. No website walkthrough will prepare you for the randomized chaos being thrown in every direction. But don't worry, because thanks to telegraphs, you'll know exactly what you did wrong. Yeah, that. And working together is a big deal in our raids. What are you, sleeping? So we've made sure that teamwork is fun. Whether you're dropping down a heal, grappling teammates back to safety, or drawing fire to keep the room from being destroyed. Our raids pit players against the environments themselves. Rooms get corrupted, light on fire, they explode. And with such a clear way to communicate danger, we can achieve a level of complexity that you wouldn't believe. Hardcore. Now, what do you get for surviving these mind-bending gauntlets of fear and adrenaline? Showers of loot. Whee! And we make sure that every big accomplishment, whether it's mini-bosses, events, or challenges, comes with loot. And it looks good. Hardcore. So you think you're that special breed of crazy? Hardcore. The kind who drinks adrenaline for breakfast? Hardcore. You might want to check out our raids. We dare you. Oh, and hit us up on social media. Double Dog Dare. The devs are listening. Would you like to subscribe to more videos?
Wow. That is all I have to say. But before we talk about our first reaction
way,
to this, I do
you
want to
wanna know
let
what
people
else
in
is
the
hardcore?
chat know that I just did this a little earlier,
That's me
but
on drums.
because it's an all-exile cast tonight, please, if you have any questions, write them in chat, get to them at the end of the cast. It can be anything that you want to know, you're curious about. If you want more information on the Exile Guild as a whole, we're here. We'll answer any of your questions. So give it to us. Now, the video, raids. Come on, Streeg, what's your first impression? Just give it. Just tell me. What do you think?
Nice. Could you do that again?
It's awesome. It is what I am here for. It has been literally, I've said this like a million bazillion times, but what's one more time? Raids have been what's been missing from MMOs for like years now. I mean, they have either gone completely away from raids or they've gone to little, snuggle bunny puppy raids that are just a joke. To go back to the earlier days of MMOs to be a little bit more hardcore on raids is just freaking awesome. This is what I've been playing for. This is what I've been waiting for. And this is what is going to make WildStar what it's going to be. Because you know what? You can have great stuff. You can have great content. And you get to the end game and you're like, oh, that was awesome. All right, where's the next best game? Right? We've all been there. We've all done it several times.
Yep.
Now, for once, we get to end game and be like, yeah, now it's going to get really cool. So... And that video just kind of says it all. My favorite part is where all the spikes pop up around the circle, man. I'm looking at that thing thinking, oh man, yeah, that's gonna be sweet. So I am pumped, man. I am super stoked.
Awesome. Now, Waffle, as a man of PvP, what do you think of raids? I mean, I know it's not maybe your bread and butter, but I mean, you impressed? You gonna be there? You gonna help us out?
Oh yeah. Everybody already knows, I'm doing PvP and that's my focus, but raiding, definitely. I will definitely be raiding with y'all because my plan is to set up PvP not on the same nights as raiding so that, my PvP guys can still jump in the raids and then I can still jump in the raids and die. That's where I want to be too. So there's no way I can play this game and not raid. I'm sorry. The sheer complexity and the bath of awesomeness that comes with it.
Hardcore.
Who wouldn't do that? Hardcore.
Right. Well, it's going to be complex. Nionya, do you think it's too complex? Do you think it's daunting? Do you think that a part of the excitement level? I mean, what are you
scared.
more excited or scared?
I'm scared. Honestly, I am. I'm completely intimidated because I've only made it to level 25 in beta because I didn't really want to go much further. What I have run has been so much fun, but on the other hand, I feel like I'm all thumbs because it's so new to me from what I've been used to as a healer. But I welcome the challenge, and I think once I master my class, those raids are going to be a blast. As of right now, if I ever had to go into a raid, we'd all die. We wouldn't get anywhere, but I think by the time I get to 50 and I spend time learning my class and understand the mechanics of healing and DPS in case I have to do that role, I'll be more than willing to go in there as confident as I could be to try to kill some of those bosses. But it is not going to be easy.
No. I think that's what's hardcore, exactly. I think that's what got us all excited. I mean, the game lent itself to being that complex because as long as you can see color, you can follow instructions. Right, Streeg?
Who needs instructions? I don't need that crap.
No, it's not. It's color.
Yeah. I did run into a problem. I did run into a problem with the heals being green and the telegraphs being red, so I just said, it's all right, I'm going to be a healer, so then I don't have to worry about dodging out of everybody's heals, so I'm golden.
Yes.
I'm golden.
Well, there you go. So as a healer, though, for the raids, do you think we'll have, like, too many healers? Do you think we will never have enough? I mean, what do you think about that? Like, it seems so complicated, like, how easy one man can go down, and we've had no battle reses so far. I mean, how do you think that's really going to work out?
I think that's going to be interesting. I'm kind of I mean, I do enjoy DPS too, so I can go really either way. But I gotta say, I think it's going to be really interesting when we finally get to like level 50 to see how many people are left that are true healers. Because being in beta as long as I have been, I've seen a lot of people come in saying, heal, 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 I am a healer, this is going to be awesome. And then they get through the first dungeon or two and they're like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with healing.
It's
This
different.
is insane. This is insane. So,
DPS for me.
well, yeah, we'll see after 50 levels how many people, after going through all the dungeons and all the adventures, still say that, yeah, healing's for me. And, you know, if we get a crap ton of them that are healing, then hey, that's cool. I'll be happy to DPS my butt off. So I'm down with that. But I got a funny feeling that by the time we get to 50 and start dishing into these raids, man, I think you're gonna see the pure healer types be a rare breed. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I've been getting that for a long time, so I'm used to that title. And honestly, I can't wait to be that healer because for me, that's what makes it exciting. Playing the medic, just how fluid the skill set is. You know, being that guy that literally has to just run around nonstop and dodging in and out of everything is, you know, crucial. Because as we know, it's a skill-based game. And even some of those raids that we saw, you know, you had to, like some of those, you know, like the mob would throw down these like waves of magic and you had to run like in a clockwise direction, like running in a maze or you get killed. I mean, it's going to be, I think, so interesting to see just the communication level and people's skill level. And to put 20 or 40 people all together, I'm going to be kind of blown away to see how it all works together. We don't just run like rabbits in different directions.
Right.
I mean, how do you think, I mean, we don't have Sam to ask this, but, you know, Waffle, as a PvP guy, how do you think we're going to get our ducks in a row? I mean, I know we have TeamSpeak, we have this and that. I mean, how many is it going to be? One time we got to run in there, we're just getting wiped, or you think we're going to do well? Like, what do you think their first experience is going to be with these raids? Like, how do you think it's going to go down?
I honestly, to be very honest, I think the first experience is going to be Wipe City. Just grab your Pampers. It's going to be wiping. It's going to be bad. But you know what? That's part of it, you know. This game has already proved to us that even the lowest level dungeon, we will wipe a lot. So we can finally figure out the mechanic and finally know what we should be doing and how to find those little holes in the wall that Carbine's put there, so you can be like, oh, okay, I get it now. But you know, I think as long as we got a good people that are paying attention, you know, I think we're going to do well. But I think some of these bosses, what scares me about these bosses is they're going to be in warblocks.
That's not scary. That's awesome.
That scares the crap out of me because you know what? We're going to have one. We're going to have a raid boss. We're like, yeah, we're so cool. And then the other team's going to have the clockwise magic guy. And I don't even know my left from my right, guys. Come on. I'm so screwed.
You know what I love about the raids that I've noticed is other games I've played, it was the DPS. Of course, you know, your tank, your healer, your DPS, it was always, you know, kill the boss, give it all you got, max DPS, make sure you're keeping your rotation, you know, do this, do that. But in WildStar, it's like, you know, get into the healer's telegraph, dodge the bad stuff, you know, hit the boss when you can hit it. It's not, you know, I'm going to stand here and the healer is going to keep me alive, even if I'm standing in bad stuff because I need to have max DPS and I need to kill this boss. So I'm just not going to move and people are going to keep me alive and all is going to be well.
Yeah,
that's not WildStar. WildStar is if you face plant into a telegraph, that's on you. That's not on the healer. That's not on the tank. That's on the DPS. Like the DPS have to be responsible in WildStar. And it's about time, honestly. Because and we'll know if you're in a telegraph, because if we can't reach you with a heal and you hit a telegraph, that's on you. That's not on us. So DPS has a lot on their plate too.
You know, the first rule of any raid is it's always the healer's fault. So
Of
It
course.
was.
Of course.
Not anymore. A dead DPS does no DPS.
But if it's not the healer's fault, it's the tank's fault. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question though, because so many MMOs out there now give you so much. You know, they hold your hand. They let you just walk you through all these things. WildStar has proven they're not like that. They're going to have random dungeons. They're going to have just little tweaks here and there. I mean, they even show like some of the mini bosses. Some of these dungeons have like 5 to 10. You know, like 3 or 4 major ones. Do you think it's going to actually throw people off? Do you think it's going to be too much of that hardcore, and then so it'll be a smaller amount of people doing it, and in the end, it'll actually be a fail on their part? I mean, is there a fine balance there? Or what do you guys think? Like Nionya, I mean, you kind of brought up that idea that it is hardcore and it's great, but is it too hardcore?
I'm worried about it. To be honest, I am, because there's going to be lockouts. Now, whether you can save your progress or not, we haven't really heard. So
Right.
if you have 10 mini bosses, you know, X amount of bosses and a couple rooms that can kill you, and you don't clear this in a week, I mean, how long is it going to take you to get through the raid? You know, how long are we going to raid a night? 3-4 hours? Three times a week? I mean, we're grievance. We're not going to be doing 8 hours a day, you know, 6 days a week, which is hardcore. So I'm a little nervous about clearing, because I don't know what raid lockouts are going to be, if we're going to be able to save our progress and continue next week, that kind of thing. So I'm not really going to worry about it until we hear, but that's a concern for me.
Well, and now do you think, like Streeg, do you think they've said that even the quote-unquote trash mobs, you know, these mini bosses and whatnot, in between the big raid bosses, are going to be dropping gear? Do you think that is going to help people get through that, so it's not so quote-unquote hardcore, that people can eventually make their way through it?
I am not the least bit concerned. I don't have any concern whatsoever. Look, this game is designed. It has stuff for the timid. Well, I shouldn't say timid, but the little less aggressive people. You know, they're still going to have solo stuff. They're still going to have the adventures, high level veteran stuff, dungeons. I mean, there's going to do plenty of stuff to do outside of raiding. So if it's not your thing, that's fine. You're still going to have a crap ton and a half of stuff to do to keep you busy, and therefore there's still going to be a ton of people playing the game. Now, as far as the raids go, yeah, they know they're pointing the raids towards the one percenters, the really people that want that huge challenge. So no, not everybody's going to raid, but you know what? I'm in grievance. We've got the people. We're going to be doing raids. So if guild A, B, C, and D says, "Oh, man, this stuff's too hard. We're not going to do this," well, then don't do it. It's not going to affect me because I'm in grievance and we're going to raid. And you know what? Like you said, we're going to have mini bosses that are going to drop gear, so you're going to get gear along the way. So you know what? If at the beginning we wipe a lot and we only get through a few mini bosses and stuff, it's still gear. And it's still going to strengthen up your raid force. It's still going to make you stronger. So the next week you go in, you're going to have that much easier of a time because you're going to be even better geared. And over time, you're eventually going to get to the
Right.
point where you get through these things.
Right.
And you know, that to me is what I'm looking forward to. And the fact that they come out and says, "Hey, you got to make these things easier," and they say no, which I think is awesome. So. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be the thing for everybody else. There's going to be plenty of stuff for the non-hardcore raiders to do, and for those of us, and there are plenty in grievance that love to hardcore raid, we will find a way. So I'm not worried even in the least.
Right. It might
It's
take
gonna
us
be
a little
awesome.
bit longer, but
Well,
we will
sure.
probably down everything in there.
Yep,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
You know, and you know, the devs might be listening, but hopefully they won't give us an easy button, right? When people
No,
complain.
no.
Yeah,
Don't want
I
that.
don't want that.
I think that's what makes me feel excited about it, because once you actually get to a certain point that you've never gotten to before, it's that sense of accomplishment that you know you've earned it. And you know, if you have 20, you could have 40. That's a huge accomplishment when you bring that amount of people in and you have that kind of organization and, you know, skill to make it that far. And as we know, it is a skill-based game. So, yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I think people can do it. And where else can you have so much fun getting totally wiped than in Grievance? I mean, come on. We'll get wiped, whatever. We'll laugh about it. Like, oh my god, you see that? And, you know, let's do it again. It'd be great.
Take number 56.
Right. Now, this week was also another big date in our, you know, WildStar universe. We had reserve our name, reserve the guild name, or a guild name. It didn't go that well. What do you think, Waffle? Do you think this is just going to show us how it's going to be on day one? I mean, just the amount of people jumping in, trying to play, and everything crashing. I mean, is this foretell something, or do you think they're going to fix it before launch?
I think with Carbine, they've been pretty responsive with a lot of the bigger things. They kind of, some of the smaller things tend to float under the rug from time to time. The reserve your name, reserve your guild name. I didn't have a problem reserving my name, because who else plays as a Waffle? As far as the guild name, that was kind of a circus. I think that personally, reserving a guild name should not have really been an option, because this is what happens right here, is the fact that somebody somewhere, whether it's guildy or not, has the name. We can't get it, which is kind of aggravating, but I feel in the long run we'll be able to make some calls, you know, get in contact with some people, and some things will be resolved. But I don't like the fact that we had to go to that length. I think it should have been as easy as day one, you know. All right, get a group together, get the renown, get the Thade, get the guild. That simple.
Right.
This whole guild name, that's everybody and the mother's saving their own personal guild name. You know, I can guarantee you at least everybody has made a guild name that could reserve one. Everybody has.
I didn't.
Why? Well, other than us, I mean, you know, we all travel in the same pack here, but there's people out there who just reserve it to reserve it. They're probably never going to make it, but it's going to sit somewhere and it's going to sit saved, which is a waste. And that's the only problem I have with it. Now, the reserver name, I understand that. I've had issues in the past where people have taken my name. It's the main name I play under, and I've found in quite a few games that people have just straight up just snatched it. So I've had to, you know, change it around and whatnot, but whatever. I'm happy I got it in this game because, well, it's kind of what I paid extra money for. But, you know, oh well.
Right.
But I really hope they fix it. I really hope they go back and look at the guild name reservation and do some tweaking, because there's kind of an issue.
I wondered, too, I was thinking about the guilds they had do all the beta testing. I wondered if there was a troll out there that found the guild name and just took it just to be a troll. You know, like how bad that they would be, you know, especially after beta testing the raids. But Nionya, you actually posted something nice to Carbine, and you kind of had a few ideas or solutions that could remedy the problem, at least in the future or for other games. And what were those again?
Well, my biggest, I love Carbine. I think they're amazing. I think the dev team is awesome. They've been so interactive with the community. There's a fly, but the whole guild thing, there's like a hole in my heart. It's not even funny, because I've played with Grievance for over 3 years, and having that tag, it means something to us. We're not just a run-of-the-mill guild. We're not just, oh, hey, it's a new game. What name are we going to come up with? Oh, Chompacabra Killers. Yay! You know, that's not who Grievance is. So,
right.
And our name is trademarked. And it just, my thing is, when you're making a guild, it should mean something. Not everybody who plays WildStar should have the ability to save a guild name. Not everybody in WildStar is going to have a guild. So what I'm thinking is they should have at least had it to where, you know, SoulGuardian, being the guild leader, could have went and reserved Grievance, but he should have had to have maybe 5 different accounts, 10 different accounts, I would say 10, to go with him and say, hey, I've got all these people, I have enough of people to make a guild, I want to reserve my name. But instead, everybody got to reserve one. And these popular names that have been out there, and I know other guilds that could not get their name, and they're well-known guilds. So people purposely went in there and was like, oh, you know, whether they don't like you, whether they just did it because they could do it or whatever, they took all these popular guild names. They're gone. Like, we're Grievance. I can't play a game and not be Grievance. It's just not who I am. So I'm sad. It's, you know, we have other things saved that we will use because we have to. We love WildStar. We're still going to play the game. It's a name, but the name means a lot to us. So to get our name back is really important. It is trademarked. So hopefully Carbine hears us and can fix this, as well as other guilds who are going through the same thing and have been established. Grievance has been established for going on 14 years now. We're not a new guild, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
with
Sad.
5,000 people, you know, and growing every day.
Yep.
Yeah, and just to back up what you said, it's the internet. There's trolls
Yep.
everywhere. I'm sorry.
There was people posting on the forums, coming out and saying, "Hey, look, I took your name," to people, like
Yeah.
right there out in the open. Like, and
thanks.
I
Well-
understand why Carbine didn't wipe the whole thing. I was one of those people who sat at this computer for 6 hours trying to get Nionya. I got Nionya. I'm glad I did. But I also feel for the people, who got their name right away or who have their guild name. They don't want to wipe. I understand that. But
Yeah.
I really kind of wish that they started over. And I know there's a lot of people out there grumbling, oh, no, whatever. But I'm thinking of the whole picture. I'm not just thinking of myself. Like, I'll give up my name to get the people who deserve their guild names or whatever back.
Right.
Because it's just the right thing to do.
We also have
Honestly.
legality on our side, so trademark. So,
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's sad.
we're gonna win this little battle regardless. So it is sad that we got trolled, because what do we do? Nothing
Right.
much. We're a bunch of nice people, so I don't
But
know.
it was strange how it went down, where it kept saying the name was taken. We couldn't get it for like 8 hours, and all of a sudden we could get it. We thought we saved it, we screenshot it, and then the next morning it was gone. So it's like, who knows? Maybe no one has taken it. Maybe no one's trolling us. Maybe it's just something with their servers not taking it. But
Yeah.
for me too, it's kind of strange, and I don't know what you think of this, Streeg. We are, most of us, I'm assuming all of us, are paying to start the game, the early release. 3 days head start. Don't you think that would be the time to really kind of reserve your name? Because you pick the server, you say your name, and once you get everyone to Thade, just like Waffle said, that's when you make a guild. Take 10 people or 5, at least a group. But doesn't that make more sense? I mean, or am I just missing the boat here?
Look, this whole naming thing, let's face it, is complete total foobar, cluster, bleepity bleep. I mean, this is a
Yep.
giant mess. This is crap. But you know what? In all honesty, and I could be wrong here, but the way I look at it like this. I'm thinking they went into this thing saying, okay, we're going to come out, a couple weeks before release. You're going to go out there, you're going to pick a server, you're going to pick your name. Everybody only gets one name to save. And then towards the last minute, they're like, oh, crap, we don't know how many servers to fire up. We don't want to fire up too many. We don't want to fire up too few. What are we going to do? All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to wait to 24 to 48 hours before release, and then we're going to release the server names. But now, because they've already said that they're going to let you reserve your names a couple weeks in advance, they've painted themselves into a corner. So now they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Well, we said we'd let them reserve the name, and if we don't, then they're going to yell and scream. If we do, now we got to do this giant global thing, which was just a complete idiotic idea to do it globally when God only knows. I mean, if they fire up with, I don't know, say 15 servers, what, you got people's names and guild names served across 15 freaking servers?
And we can't play
mean-
on the EU servers anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a complete and total mess, and I think it just goes to show you that, they try to come out with information early to make the fans happy, and I think it turned around and it bit them. And I think they got
hard.
screwed, and now they're stuck between another rock and a hard place, because now they got a crap ton and a half of pissed off people, and what do you do now? Do you wipe it? Well, then you're going to piss off the people that got the names they wanted. If you don't wipe it, then they're going to piss off the people that sat there spamming their button for 8 freaking hours to save a name. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I think it's a complete and total mess. I think it was an unfortunate side effect of what had happened with waiting on the saving of the server name. So I don't really, I'm not like pissed off at Carbine. I think it was just an honest screw up that they just painted themselves into a corner. So I'm not pissed off at them, but it was a mess and it's screwed up, and there's a lot of pissed off people. And I'm all for saving names early and going through that crap, but I'm kind of with you guys when it comes to guild names. You're not going to have 200,000 people running around with one-man guilds. So why does everybody need to save a guild? Is freaking ridiculous. So they should have had guilds completely separated and either said, all right, the guild part is going to be reserved 24 to 48 hours before we release, when we actually have the server names, and you can pick a server name and reserve a guild name. Or they should have just waited to release and say, when you get to Fade or wherever, and you go and you do what you got to do to get the guild name. But this global thing is just crap. But I digress. Well, no, I don't digress. I've had
no. That's part of the problem. I mean, that's kind of the question too. Is if they had just done, like, say, name reserves, and first give out the servers, and then say, okay, now you can save one name, would that just solve the problem? I think people would have been a lot happier. They had a lot more options, because for us, we're a guild. We just, as a guild, would pick a server, and so then it's flip a coin if you get your name. Other individuals that don't have that going into the game could just be like, oh, I'm going to try every server until I get my name. So I think that would alleviate a lot of the pressure they're feeling. But I also believe, we're paying for the right to go in there early, jump in there early, and that's 5, 10 people, how many ever it takes to make a guild. Do it that way. That's how you reserve a name, because otherwise, one person can totally be a troll to how many guilds. It's like just they can mess it up. They have a group of friends, and if they're that dedicated to be a troll, where they get 5 of their friends to do it, to take someone else's name, I'm sorry. A, get a life. B, you got a lot of time on your hands, and sure, they'll do it to one person, and that's it. You minimize your damage. So I just feel like they kind of made the mistake without, like you said, without doing the servers. And I think that if they just let it go, just wait for the early release, and people got in the game and played until they got a guild, you wouldn't have those trolls out there, or just, or the servers crashing because everyone's sitting there for 8 hours trying to do the same thing as hundreds of thausands of other people are doing. Because it's a massive game. Do they realize how popular the game's going to be? We're all excited, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There's got to be more out there.
Yeah, I really do. I feel for them. I do. I like Streeg said, rock in a hard place, but
yeah,
what
they
can you
put
do?
themselves there, though.
They did.
I completely understand and agree with their concept of holding off on listing the servers they're going to have, because we've seen a lot of games in the past release with too many servers, and then they have to wind up merging servers, and that causes a nightmare, or you don't have enough servers, and now all of a sudden you've got the first 10 servers are packed full, and the last 2 or 3 that they open up become no man land and deserted. So I'm in complete agreement with waiting for 48 hours before release to list their server names, but they should have waited to let you reserve your names until 48 hours before release. They should not have done it this early and done this global crap.
Yeah, like release the servers 48 hours before, and then you can reserve your name 24 hours before.
Right,
like
right.
That. Yes. So have they get stages or something that's pretty close to launch. And if they need that to estimate numbers, then I understand that. That would actually make more sense to me.
Yep.
But as it is, everyone's still checking to see if the name is still saved, and to see if your personal name, the game, the grievance name is not there, at least for us yet. But hopefully this will get worked out, and we'll figure something out, because we still have a few weeks, so it's no time to panic just yet. Well, that wraps up that little segment. Nionya, has there been any questions from people in the chat that we can answer just as
Nope.
a exile? We
Nope.
do. What's that?
I don't think so. I didn't see
No?
any.
No questions?
No.
Okay.
They're talking
then
about taking shots, and somebody, Dash was singing "Let It Go" to you, Soul. Let it go. Whatever, from Frozen. I don't know why.
I tell you, just
Frozen
for the
never
record,
started.
Do you want to build a snowman?
just
No.
for the record, before we
It's
end this,
finally
I
gone.
gotta say, this whole mess with the names server and guild name and stuff,
Right.
ultimately, as frustrating, as messed up as it is, in reality, I don't really care. I mean, I can spell Streeg like 50 freaking different ways, and
I'm with you.
if we don't have Grievance, we have Grievance Gaming or Grievance Exiles or whatever. Ultimately, in the end, when it comes right down to it, we're still going to have this big, massive, awesome group of people going into WildStar having a hell of a good time. And
Collecting
the losers and
plushies.
griefers out there at the end of the day are still going to be losers and griefers. So, more power to you, whatever.
Poop on the griefers. Poop on you
So-
guys.
Right. It's
You don't
not the
belong in
name, it's
grievance.
the heart behind it.
either.
That's right. It's the people, man.
Yes, and I'm amazed. Every day we're getting more and more recruits, so we are just piling up on the Exiles and even the Dominion side, man.
We
are
got
gonna
one
be
Dominion
stacked.
today.
Yeah, I mean it's more and more people. I want to see it launch. I want to see at least 300 people in the Exiles. That was my goal. I know you guys are all like, "Oh God, that's a lot of work," but hey, I want to
Oh,
see it.
yeah.
I think it'll be
See it.
exciting. Right, that first day is going to be a mad rush.
Sweating already, man.
Hey, we got the officers, which obviously you guys are amazing. We got the people, which we've been listening to on TeamSpeak and playing with, and they're just as great. We have a good group of people, and I think the more people hang out with us and listen to us on TeamSpeak, the more people are going to join.
In
Obviously-
16 days.
I know.
Woot woot.
Yay.
After how many years we've been waiting for this, and it's so close, you can almost taste it. It's awesome.
Num num num.
Exactly. Well, guys, thank you for another amazing cast. It's always fun to hang out with my Exile friends, and glad to see so many people could join us tonight. So, last thing, though, is on the 27th, if we have any new recruits, please, we're going to have another kind of open forum as we did last month. Go through the rules, introduce you to, obviously, the officers and whatnot, which, obviously you can see tonight. And just talk about the game and how excited we are and how it's going to be. Please, if you're a new recruit and you want to kind of hang out with us,
Amazing.
listen to us talk, show up on the 27th.
Nionya,
Other than that,
you're an RO. Am I correct? Is the Dominion side recruit meeting on the 20th?
Yes.
Yes.
okay,
So I
so
just want
Dominion,
Dominion. Yep.
same if you're a new recruit and you're going to do the Dominion, or even are thinking about it, if you're even a little Dominion curious, go right ahead, 20th, join them.
If you're a little evil and arrogant, you
Right,
might
like
want
your red
to join
wine.
the Dominion.
You say
Exactly.
Dominion curious?
Exactly.
That's funny, but I'm still giggling over the fact that whenever Streeg has a question, he raises his hand. Hey,
Pick me, pick me.
is it my turn?
Teacher?
I'm just over here like, I'm butting in right now.
So funny,
Not
every
all.
time I hear somebody say pick me, I think of Donkey from the movie Shrek when he's jumping around. Oh, pick me, pick me! Come on.
That's a nice boulder. Yeah, we know. It's great. Well, thank you again, guys. We'll see you later. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Don't forget to check out grievancegaming.org and all the other nice channels I'll be posting into this video. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you next week.